Hello, and welcome to my York recap video for April of 2024. The next few images show some pictures from my flight from Kansas City to New York. I decided to fly into New York City to go see a friend and to drive to the York Fair together. Once I landed in New York, I took a bus to the Long Island Railroad into Grand Central, and then walked around Midtown Manhattan for a few hours. I'd never been to Grand Central, so as someone interested in the history and the architecture, I decided to make a stop. I would say the stop was well worth it, as it had been something I had wanted to do for a long time. The station building itself was simply gorgeous, and seeing that it's still in use is really great. Grand Central is one of those buildings that was almost claimed by history if not for a Supreme Court case that saved the building's fate. I'm glad the building has been preserved for future generations to come. The next part of my journey was me walking around Midtown Manhattan, just taking in all the skyscrapers, the buildings, and all the scenery. Here's one of the sculptures at Rockefeller Center, for example. As I made my way through Midtown Manhattan, I made sure to stop by Times Square, where the Taylor Swift album had just released, so she had a billboard. Nevertheless, I continued on my walk and made it down to Herald Square by the Empire State Building. Once there, I made sure to walk down to Penn Station, by the old Pennsylvania Hotel that has since been demolished, and by Madison Square Garden, which replaced the old Penn Station structure. I did happen to see the Moynihan Station portion of Penn Station, and it turned out to be a really cool facility, as pictures will soon show. For those of you unfamiliar with New York City and its train stations, Moynihan Station is a recreation of Penn Station back in the day. Many of the architectural motifs are meant to harken back towards the old Penn Station structure that was demolished in the 1960s. However, some remnants of the old Penn Station still exist. After my day walking around Midtown Manhattan, I took the train out to New Jersey to go see my friend. The next day, my friend and I took off for the York train show early in the morning. This had only been my second York, so I was very excited for this show. I didn't get a ton of pictures and videos just due to the sheer excitement, but I did get a few that I wanted to share here. There's some really cool O-gauge items at York. The Orange Hall is the main dealer hall where most of the trains are being sold that are new. For those of you who have been in the hobby for a while, there were quite a few familiar names at this hall, some from very far away in the country. Several of the manufacturers were there as well, and some freelance people too. I particularly enjoy the vendors who do architectural detailing. Both MTH and Atlas were there, but I did not see Lionel. Here's a couple pictures from the MTH booth with the Katy Challenger. It's a pretty locomotive. There were several booths of several different locomotives displayed, as well as some people doing freelance things like lighting, as is shown here, and 3D printed structures. This booth, I believe, laser cut out of wood their structures. I was so excited during York, I forgot to get pictures with all the people that I met at that show. Later that afternoon, I went to the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania with my friend. I saw several full-sized versions of the models that I happened to collect. A little 1-to-1 scale modeling, if you catch my drift. This upcoming picture is of 520, which is a model I happen to have in my collection. The next picture is of PRR 460, which is a locomotive I hope to have in my O-scale collection someday. After checking out the museum, we crossed the street to Strasburg. It was cool to check out Strasburg for the first time. I may be butchering that with my Midwest accent. Overall, York was an amazing experience. I'm glad I got to meet some of my YouTube friends and do some train stuff together. I was only at York for the morning and part of the afternoon on the last day, so I had to return home the next day. The next day, I pretty much did in reverse what I had done on Friday. This time I didn't have nearly as much time to capture videos and pictures in Midtown Manhattan, but I did capture a couple of Moynihan Station one more time. On my way out of town, I was only able to capture another couple of pictures and videos, one being waiting for the bus and another at the airport looking at the fountain. I soon boarded a plane and got back to Kansas City in the afternoon. There's one thing I have yet to cover in my York trip. What did I bring home? I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to show you anyways. My friend over at the YouTube channel Datafied, also known as the Secondhand Overland, gave me some of these stickers. I also got this card from Big Boy Trains. Trains of Lark and I went and talked to Roger Karp, the senior editor of Classic Toy Trains, as well. I also got a sticker for the 3 Rails 4 Dads podcast, which is pretty cool if you check it out. The last paper good I got was the Atlas O Premiere Catalog for spring of 2024, featuring that 280 that I also saw at the show. Okay, let's be honest. I know the paper goods are great, but I know what you guys are here for. So I'm going to show you what train haul I got at York here in just a second. As you will see in my unboxing video, I got something in the orange box goodness. I only got one item, but it was pretty much my entire York budget. As you will soon see, what I got had quite a bit of packaging surrounding it, and quite a bit of securement to protect it. This package happened to have Velcro strips wrapped around the styrofoam. It took a little effort to get out, but I'm sure you can figure out what I got from this show. For those of you who happen to know what I'm unboxing, don't ruin the show for everyone else. We gotta give them a little bit of anticipation. After a little more unboxing, finally, the Osage Railway number 10. They had the thing pretty well secured in the box. After unscrewing the locomotive and tender from the metal base that it came shipped in, and getting the styrofoam pieces above the wheels off, I got the locomotive soon on the tracks. And here's the locomotive on the tracks. She looks good with her Russian iron boiler. In addition, the pinstriping on the wheels and tender make this locomotive really pop. It caught my eye some time ago when it was cataloged with Strasbourg 90, but I didn't get it at the time. The show happened to provide an opportunity for me to get it, at a good price. I'm going to play a couple teaser clips of this locomotive in action. Be on the lookout for a full review video of Osage Railway number 10 shortly. Once again, thank you all for meeting me at York and accepting me into the community. I hope that I can attend many more Yorks in the near future. If you like what you see, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, feel free to hit the bell button if you want to get notifications on my uploads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in another video soon. Thanks.